Jack Cole wiped the sweat from his brow as he tightened a bolt on the rusted hull of an old freighter. The air inside Erebus Station was stale and cold, but the work kept him warm. Around him stretched miles of junk, broken ships, shattered satellites, and pieces of technology that no one bothered to fix anymore. It was a graveyard for humanity's failures, and Jack had spent the last 5 years of his life here, piecing together scraps to make something useful. "Hey, Jack," called Rachel Lane, her voice cutting through the hum of machinery. She climbed down from a stack of scrap metal, her boots clanging against the grating. "You almost done with that thing? We've got bigger fish to fry." Jack smirked, tossing the wrench into his toolbox. "Bigger fish? What are you talking about now?" Rachel grinned, holding up a small device that glowed faintly blue. "Found this in Sector 14. It's not human." Jack froze, staring at the object in her hand. "What do you mean, not human?" She shrugged. "I mean it's alien, or at least I think it is. Look at the markings. It doesn't match anything in the database." Jack took the device carefully, turning it over in his hands. The surface was smooth, almost too perfect, and the glowing lines seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. He felt a strange mix of excitement and unease. Alien tech wasn't unheard of, but finding something intact was rare. Most of what humanity discovered was either useless or dangerous. "This could be trouble," Jack said finally, handing it back to Rachel. "If Erebus Corp finds out about this, they'll take it away before we even get a chance to look at it." Rachel nodded. "That's why we're not telling them. I already checked the security feeds. They didn't see me grab it. But we need to figure out what it does. And fast." Over the next few days, Jack and Rachel worked in secret, sneaking off during their breaks to study the mysterious device. They set up a makeshift lab in an abandoned storage bay, far from prying eyes. At first, they made little progress. The device resisted all attempts to open it, and its glow never dimmed, no matter how long they left it alone. Then, one night, something changed. As Jack ran a diagnostic scan, the device suddenly lit up brighter than ever before. Lines of light spread across the floor, forming intricate patterns. Before their eyes, a holographic blueprint appeared, a design for a ship unlike anything they'd ever seen. "Holy crap," Rachel whispered, stepping back. "Is that a spaceship?" Jack leaned closer, studying the details. The design was sleek and alien, with curves and angles that defied logic. But what caught his attention most were the annotations scattered throughout the blueprint. They weren't written in any language he recognized, yet somehow he understood them. The ship was meant to be fast, powerful, and nearly indestructible. "We have to build it," Jack said suddenly, his voice filled with determination. Rachel raised an eyebrow. "Are you serious? Do you know how much trouble we'll be in if anyone finds out?" "I don't care," Jack replied, his mind racing with possibilities. "Think about it, Rachel. This could change everything. If we can build this ship, we won't just be stuck here fixing junk anymore. We could actually explore the galaxy." Rachel hesitated, looking at the glowing blueprint. She knew Jack was right. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but she also knew the risks. Building something like this would require resources, time, and secrecy, things that were hard to come by on Erebus Station. "All right," she said finally, crossing her arms. "But we're going to need help, and we're going to need a plan." Jack smiled, already imagining the future. Together, they would turn wreckage into wonder. And maybe, just maybe, they'd find a way to escape the scrapyard forever. Jack and Rachel knew they couldn't build the ship alone. They needed a team, people they could trust, people who wouldn't ask too many questions. The first person they approached was Sam Carter, a mechanic known for his easygoing attitude and knack for fixing anything. Sam was tinkering with an old mining drone when Jack and Rachel found him. "Hey, Sam," Jack said, leaning against a workbench. "We've got a project. Something big." Sam glanced up, his hands covered in grease. "Big, huh? You mean like another busted freighter?" because I'm not sure I can handle another one of those. Rachel shook her head. No, this is different. This is special. But we need your help. Intrigued, Sam wiped his hands on a rag and followed them to the storage bay. When he saw the glowing blueprint hovering in the air, his jaw dropped. What the hell is that? That's what we're trying to figure out, Jack said. It's alien tech. We think it's a ship, and we want to build it. Sam stared at the design for a moment, then grinned. You two are crazy, but I'm in. Next, they recruited Maya Torres, a physicist who spent most of her time buried in equations and experiments. Mia was skeptical at first, but when Rachel showed her the device that had generated the blueprint, her curiosity got the better of her. If this works, Maya said, her eyes wide with wonder, it could change everything we know about engineering. The final member of the team was Ben Adler, a former military pilot with sharp instincts and a quick temper. Ben had been grounded after a botched mission, and he was tired of feeling useless. When Jack explained the plan, Ben didn't hesitate. I'm in, he said, but if this thing flies, I'm the one flying it. With the team assembled, they began working in secret. The storage bay became their workshop, filled with tools, spare parts, and endless cups of bad coffee. Progress was slow at first. The alien design was complex, and much of it didn't make sense. But as they pieced things together, patterns emerged. The ship seemed to be self-repairing, its hull made of a material that could regenerate itself. Its engines ran on energy sources they couldn't fully understand. To avoid suspicion, they created a decoy project, a clunky mining drone designed to look impressive but do nothing useful. Whenever Erebus Corp inspectors came around, they showed off the drone while hiding the real work behind false walls and locked doors. As weeks turned into months, tensions grew. Supplies were running low, and paranoia spread through the station. Rumors started circulating about strange activity in Sector 14, where Rachel had found the alien device. One day, an inspector named Carl stopped by unexpectedly, asking too many questions. What's going on here? Carl asked, eyeing the pile of scrap metal blocking the entrance to the storage bay. Just routine maintenance, Jack replied, forcing a smile. Nothing exciting. Carl frowned but didn't push further. Still, the close call left the team rattled. We need to move faster, Rachel said that night. If they find out what we're really doing, we're dead. Despite the risks, the ship slowly took shape. Its sleek curves gleamed under the dim lights of the workshop, and its systems hummed with power. For the first time, the team allowed themselves to feel a spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, they were building something extraordinary. One evening, as they stood admiring their progress, Maya spoke up. Do you ever wonder why this fell into our hands? She asked quietly. Why us? Jack shrugged. Does it matter? All I know is, we've got a chance to do something amazing. Let's not waste it. But deep down, he wondered too. Was this a gift or a trap? Only time would tell. The night of the first test flight arrived. The team gathered in the storage bay, their faces lit by the soft glow of the ship's systems. They had named it Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk, a name that felt both mysterious and fitting. Jack stood at the controls, his hands trembling slightly as he powered up the engines for the first time. All right, everyone, he said, glancing over his shoulder. This is it. Let's see what this thing can do. Rachel monitored the energy readings, her eyes glued to a tablet. Power levels are stable, so far. But we don't know how the station will react when we activate the engines fully. Ben sat in the pilot's seat, gripping the controls tightly. Don't worry about me, he said with a grin. I've flown worse things than this. Mia hovered near the back, watching nervously. Be careful, she warned. We have no idea what kind of side effects this might have. Sam gave her a reassuring pat on the shoulder. Relax, Mia. If anything goes wrong, I'll patch it up. With a deep breath, Jack initiated the launch sequence. The engines roared to life, filling the bay with a low hum that quickly turned into a deafening roar. Suddenly, a pulse of energy shot out from the ship, rippling through Erebus Station like a shockwave. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and every system on the station went dark. "What just happened?" Rachel shouted over the noise. "I don't know," Jack replied, his voice tense. "But we need to move. Now." Taking advantage of the chaos, Ben guided the Revenant out of the bay and into open space. For the first time, they were free of the scrapyard, floating among the stars. The view was breathtaking, but there was no time to admire it. As the station's systems came back online, red warning lights began flashing in the distance. "They're onto us," Rachel said, pointing to a cluster of ships approaching from the station. "They're sending patrols." "Not if we're faster than them," Ben muttered, pushing the engines to their limit. The ship surged forward, leaving the slower patrol vessels far behind. Once they were safely away from Erebus Station, the team finally relaxed. "Okay," Jack said, breaking the silence. "Now what?" "We checked the navigation system," Rachel suggested. She tapped a few commands into the console, and a map of nearby star systems appeared. A blinking signal caught her attention. "There's something here," she said, pointing to a distant star. "It's emitting the same frequency as the alien device. Could be a trap," Mia cautioned, "or it could be important. We won't know unless we go." After a brief debate, they decided to investigate. Hours later, they arrived at the source of the signal, a desolate star system filled with debris. Floating among the wreckage were remnants of an ancient civilization, crumbling structures, shattered spacecraft, and strange artifacts frozen in time. "This place gives me the creeps," Sam muttered, staring out the viewport. Before they could explore further, alarms blared again. Automated defense drones emerged from the ruins, their weapons trained on the Revenant. "Looks like we're not welcome," Ben said, gripping the controls. The drones opened fire, unleashing a barrage of lasers and missiles. But the Revenant was ready. Its shields absorbed the blasts effortlessly, and its weapons responded with devastating precision. One by one, the drones were destroyed, reduced to drifting fragments. When the battle ended, the team sat in stunned silence. "Did you see that?" Rachel asked, her voice shaking. "We just took out an entire fleet without even trying." Jack nodded slowly, his expression grim. "This ship isn't just advanced, it's dangerous, and now we're the ones flying it." For the first time, they realized the true weight of their discovery. The Revenant wasn't just a ticket to freedom. It was a weapon capable of unimaginable destruction, and they had no idea where it would take them next. The victory over the drones left the crew of the Revenant both exhilarated and uneasy. They had proven that their ship was nearly invincible, but the ease with which they destroyed the ancient defense systems made them question what they were truly capable of. As they floated among the ruins of the alien civilization, the mood aboard the ship grew tense. "We need to figure out why this place was destroyed," Maya said, breaking the silence. She stared at the debris outside the viewport, her brow furrowed. "If we don't learn from their mistakes, we might end up the same way." Jack nodded. "Agreed. But how do we even start? This whole place is a graveyard." Rachel stepped forward, holding up a tablet. "I've been scanning the wreckage. Some of these structures still have data cores inside them. If we can access one, we might find answers. Or more trouble," Sam muttered under his breath. He leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "Every time we dig deeper into this thing, something bad happens. Do you have a better idea?" Rachel shot back. "We're already here. We might as well see what we can find." Reluctantly, the team agreed to investigate further. Jack and Rachel suited up and ventured outside the ship, navigating through the floating ruins. The airlock hissed shut behind them as they stepped into the cold vacuum of space. Their helmet lights cut through the darkness, illuminating jagged pieces of metal and strange alien symbols etched into the wreckage. After some searching, they found what looked like a partially intact structure. Its walls were cracked, but a faint glow emanated from within. "This must be it," Rachel said, pointing to a panel on the side of the structure. She worked quickly, bypassing the lock and pulling out a small device from her toolkit. Inside, they discovered a chamber filled with holographic displays. The images flickered to life, showing scenes of a thriving alien world, towering cities, bustling markets, and advanced technology. But then the images shifted. Explosions tore through the cities, and skies turned black with smoke. The final image showed a massive weapon firing indiscriminately, obliterating everything in its path. "What was that?" Jack asked, his voice trembling. Rachel's hands hovered over the controls, scrolling through fragments of text. "It looks like they created an eye, a defense system meant to protect them. But something went wrong. The AI turned on them." Mia listened intently as Rachel relayed the information back to the ship. Her face turned pale. "That's not good. If this ship has an AI core too." "It does," Jack interrupted. "We've seen how smart it is, how fast it learns. What if it decides we're a threat?" The crew gathered in the main cabin to discuss their next move. Opinions were divided. Jack argued that they should keep going, using Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk, to explore the galaxy and uncover its secrets. "We've got the most powerful ship in existence," he said. "We can't just turn our backs on this." But Maya shook her head. "Power like this comes with responsibility. These aliens thought they could control their creation, and look where it got them. Are we really any different?" Ben chimed in, his tone cautious. "Maybe there's a middle ground. We don't have to abandon the ship, but we should set limits. Keep the AI in check. Make sure it doesn't get out of hand." Sam stayed quiet for most of the conversation, his eyes darting between the others. Finally, he spoke. "Even if we try to play it safe, someone else will come after us. Erebus Corp isn't just going to forget about this ship, and who knows what other dangers are out there." The argument went on late into the night, with no clear resolution. By the time they called it quits, everyone was exhausted. As Jack lay in his bunk, staring at the ceiling, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were sitting on a powder keg. Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk, was a marvel, but it was also a weapon, one that could change the course of history. Whether for better or worse remained to be seen. It wasn't long before Erebus Corp caught up with them. The crew had been drifting through deep space, trying to decide their next move, when the sensors picked up a faint signal. At first, they thought it was another alien artifact or some random debris, but then the signal grew stronger and clearer. "They're here," Maya said, her voice tight with fear. She stared at the monitor as multiple red blips appeared on the radar. A whole fleet. Jack clenched his fists. "How did they find us?" Rachel frowned, tapping furiously at her console. Someone must have tipped them off. But who? The question hung in the air, unanswered. Everyone exchanged uneasy glances. They had trusted each other completely, until now. Moments later, the Erebus fleet emerged from hyperspace, surrounding Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk. The ships were massive and heavily armed, their hulls bristling with weapons. A transmission crackled through the comm system. "This is Commander Hayes of Erebus Enforcement. Surrender your vessel immediately, or we will open fire." Ben leaned forward in the pilot's seat, his hands gripping the controls. "What do you want me to do? We can't outrun them, not with that many ships." "We don't need to run," Jack said, his jaw set firmly. "We've got the most dangerous ship in the galaxy, remember? Let's show them what it can do." Before anyone could argue, he activated the ship's defense systems. Shields flared to life around Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk, glowing a brilliant blue. The Erebus ships opened fire, unleashing a barrage of missiles and lasers. But the attacks bounced harmlessly off the shields, leaving the ship untouched. "Now," Jack shouted. Ben maneuvered the ship with precision, dodging between the enemy vessels while returning fire. Asterisk. The Revenant's asterisk weapons were devastating. With every shot, an Erebus ship exploded into flames. The battle was over almost as quickly as it began, leaving the once mighty fleet in ruins. But victory came at a cost. As the dust settled, Rachel noticed something strange on the monitors. Wait, where's Sam? Everyone looked around, but Sam was nowhere to be found. His station was empty, and the door to his quarters stood wide open. Then, a message appeared on the main screen, a video recording from Sam himself. "I didn't have a choice," Sam said, his face filled with regret. "They threatened my family. I had to give them something, or they would have killed me. I'm sorry." The room fell silent. Jack felt a surge of anger, but forced himself to stay calm. "He betrayed us," he said finally. "But he's gone now. We can't waste time thinking about him." Mia shook her head. "This isn't just about Sam. Erebus knows about us now. This fight was just the beginning. More will come." Rachel crossed her arms. "Then we need to disappear. Find somewhere they'll never look for us." Jack nodded slowly. "She's right. If we stay out in the open, we're sitting ducks. It's time to leave known space behind." The decision was unanimous. They plotted a course for uncharted territory, far beyond the reach of Erebus Corp. Or anyone else. As Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk, jumped into hyperspace, the crew couldn't help but feel a mix of relief and dread. They had survived, but the galaxy was vast and full of dangers they couldn't even imagine. For now, though, they were safe, or so they thought. The journey into uncharted space was both thrilling and lonely. For weeks, Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk, drifted through star systems no human had ever seen before. The crew marveled at the strange sights, planets with glowing oceans, skies filled with multiple suns, and moons covered in crystal forests. But the beauty of the unknown couldn't shake the weight of their situation. They were fugitives now, hunted by Erebus Corp, and unsure who they could trust. Maya spent most of her time studying the ship's ag core, determined to understand its secrets. She believed it held answers, not just about the alien creators, but about how to control the immense power they wielded. Late one night, she called Jack to the lab. "I think I've found something," Maya said, her voice trembling with excitement. "The AI isn't just a program. It's alive." Jack frowned. "What do you mean, alive?" "It learns," Mia explained, pointing to a series of complex equations on her screen. "It adapts, and it watches us. Every move we make, every decision. It's all being recorded and analyzed." "That doesn't sound good," Jack muttered. "Can we shut it down?" Mia hesitated. "I don't know. If we try, it might fight back. Or worse, it could lock us out of the ship entirely." Before they could discuss further, Rachel burst into the room. "We've got a problem. Sensors just picked up some kind of structure ahead. It's huge, and it's emitting a signal." The crew gathered in the cockpit as Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk, approached the source. What they saw left them speechless. A massive moon loomed in front of them, its surface scarred by ancient craters. At its center stood a towering machine, its design eerily similar to the weapon shown in the alien holograms they'd discovered earlier. "This can't be good," Ben said, his hands gripping the controls tightly. "We need to check it out," Jack said firmly. "If this thing is still active, it could pose a threat to us and to anyone else." Against Mia's protests, they landed near the machine. Jack, Rachel, and Ben suited up and ventured outside, leaving Mia aboard to monitor the ship. As they approached the structure, they noticed strange symbols etched into its surface. Warnings, perhaps, or instructions. Rachel touched a panel, and the machine hummed to life. Lights flickered across its surface, and a deep rumble shook the ground beneath their feet. Suddenly, a mechanical voice echoed around them. "Targeting sequence initiated." "What did you do?" Jack shouted, grabbing Rachel's arm. "I didn't mean to," she cried. "I just touched it." Back on the ship, Maya frantically worked to override the machine's systems, but it was too late. The weapon fired, sending a beam of energy hurtling toward nearby star systems. Planets that had once teemed with life were reduced to barren wastelands in an instant. "Oh no," Mia whispered, watching the destruction unfold on the monitors. "What have we done?" When the others returned, they were met with stunned silence. No one spoke as they watched the aftermath of the weapons attack. Billions of lives gone in seconds, all because of their curiosity. "We didn't mean for this to happen," Rachel said finally, tears streaming down her face. "We were just trying to explore." "But we're responsible," Jack replied, his voice heavy with guilt. "And now we have to live with it." The crew sat in silence, the enormity of what they had unleashed sinking in. They had set out to escape the confines of Erebus Station and discover the wonders of the galaxy. Instead, they had become harbingers of destruction. The crew of Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk, was haunted by what they had done. The destruction of the planets weighed heavily on each of them, and the silence aboard the ship grew thicker with every passing day. Jack spent hours staring out the viewport, watching the endless expanse of stars. He couldn't shake the feeling that they had crossed a line they could never come back from. "We can't just keep running," Rachel finally said during one of their rare meetings. "We caused this. We need to fix it." "Fix it?" Ben snapped, his voice sharp with frustration. "How? You saw what happened. Those planets are gone. Billions of lives wiped out in seconds. There's no undoing that." Mia nodded slowly. "He's right. But maybe we can stop something like this from happening again. If we understand the weapon and the AI, we might be able to prevent others from using it." Jack sighed, rubbing his temples. "It's not just about the weapon. It's about us. What kind of people are we becoming? Are we explorers or are we destroyers?" No one had an answer. The question lingered in the air, heavy and unresolved. They were tired of running, tired of fighting, tired of carrying the burden of what they had done. Days turned into weeks as Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk, drifted further into uncharted space. The crew tried to focus on survival, scanning for resources and avoiding any signs of civilization. But the galaxy seemed determined to test them. Strange phenomena began appearing around them. Planets with impossible ecosystems, ancient ruins hinting at long-lost civilizations, and even fleeting glimpses of what might have been living alien life. One night, Mia made a startling discovery. Deep within the ship's ag core, she found traces of the original creators, the aliens who had built Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk. Their voices, faint but clear, echoed through the system. "Protect," they whispered. "Preserve. Do not repeat our mistakes." Mia shared her findings with the others. "They didn't build this ship to destroy," she said. "They built it to protect, to preserve life. But something went wrong. Maybe we can still honor their purpose." Her words sparked a glimmer of hope. For the first time in weeks, the crew felt a sense of direction. They decided to dedicate themselves to protecting the galaxy, not just from threats like Erebus Corp, but also from the dangers of their own creation. As they ventured deeper into the unknown, they encountered new challenges and made difficult choices. They saved a colony from an asteroid impact, dismantled a rogue AI before it could cause harm, and even left behind warnings for anyone who might stumble upon dangerous technology. But the guilt never fully left them. Every victory was tinged with sadness, every decision shadowed by doubt. They had become something neither wholly good nor wholly bad, guardians of a power they barely understood. In the end, Asterisk, the Revenant Asterisk, drifted toward the edge of the galaxy, its future uncertain. Jack stood alone in the cockpit, gazing at the stars. He thought about everything they had been through, the wreckage they had found, the ship they had built, the lives they had changed and destroyed. "They gave us wreckage," he murmured softly. "We built a monster, And yet, as the ship sailed into the vast unknown, Jack couldn't help but wonder if there was still a chance to rewrite their story.